Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Got a new podcast coming up. I'll be telling you about that pretty soon, about a couple of weeks or so, hit or miss. I will tell you this, John Merrill is with me right now. Our former Alabama Secretary of State served us for a long time, and we definitely miss you, John. But I wanted to say this about the internet world and about anything technical. It's really going to be quicker than what I tell you. I stretch it out a little bit, and I'll tell you the podcast is going to be within about 2 weeks. It'll be quicker. You set those expectations, right?
That's exactly right. Under promise and over deliver.
It works. And then when it happens quicker, we are all the more happy for it. John is with us. He's from Wagner Engineering. And so you're the Director of Public Policy and Strategic Markets there.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be with you. Thank you for having me as your guest again today.
Always. Enjoyed seeing you and Cindy the other night. And
it was great to be with y'all. That was a tremendous event.
It most certainly was. Let's talk a little bit about what you do. I know you were Alabama Secretary of State, and you'll always be our favorite. And so many things you brought and serving us as citizens. And you're carrying that, whatever you do, you're serving. So you're carrying this over as well to engineering, to Wagner Engineering. Thank you.
Well, we are. And one of the reasons that this team hired me was to help communities transform and to grow. And that's municipalities, counties, utilities, the state as a whole. So we're excited about the opportunities that we have to try to make sure that all of our communities throughout the state of Alabama are doing everything they can to grow and be all they can possibly be in all 67 counties and all 464 municipalities around the state of Alabama. So this is an exciting time to be a part of a great team like this. And Donna, one of the things that I do, I continue to travel just like I was doing when I was a secretary. And this is the 11th year in a row and the 12th time that I will have been to all 67 counties. I've already been to 44 counties since January the 1st for about 380 visits to those 44 counties. So we're continuing to meet with those leaders in those communities and to try to find a way to help them grow and mature and be all they can be.
We definitely appreciate that. I know on behalf of our mayor, Chuck Abels here, he's a true fan. And so, of course, I don't know what you guys talked about, but he's very impressed with what you're carrying on. And I wanted to mention this too. We're growing here in Geraldine. So we're learning new techniques on how to make that happen and to make it happen the right way. You know, there's growing a business, there's growing a town. And if you rush it, if you do it the wrong way, it's going to be a disaster. What are some of the things we as citizens of DeKalb County or any other county, what can we do to help?
Well, of course, there's 17 municipalities in DeKalb County alone, which is one of the largest counties in the state with a number of municipalities. Of course, Jefferson has the most, but I think the thing that has to be understood by all of our citizens in DeKalb County and Northeast Alabama and throughout the great state of Alabama is that we need an organized and an orchestrated way to grow, because if we don't have that, then people will want to sell their property, people will want to develop their property, and without an organized and structured way to do so, you could easily have a particular area developed in a way that was not really up to the community standards. And even though we want our people to be able to do what they want to do with their property, there's a reasonable expectation that they ought to be able to do so the way that they want to, but still make sure that they are continuing to contribute to the overall quality of life and strong development of that particular community the way that the community standards are set aside.
Well, we're tickled to death to do that too. I will tell you this, John, we have another family Dollar General here, and we're tickled to have that. And I got to give you a little history. So my mother is from this town. I grew up in Oxford, Alabama. That's where I met your uncle.
That's right.
Merrill, Matthews, and Allen.
Right.
He was one of my clients, and when I was with GTE. And so the thing about it is we moved here when I was in the ninth grade, graduated from high school here, a little different for me, a little smaller town. We had a stop sign where that red light is. You know where the red light is?
Oh,
Close to the hardware
yes.
store. So we had a stop sign. Mother called. We were living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Mother called and said, Donna, guess what? We have a Jack's coming in. Man, we were so thrilled. And then the red light came in, but it's called progress. And we do things here in this county, we do it the right way under the right leadership. And you're definitely giving us the direction.
Well, and it's important to make sure that we're listening to everybody in the community because everyone's voice is important. But we have to make sure that we're doing what we need to do for the overall betterment of the community as a whole. And that's what most people are supportive of, is trying to find a way to move a community forward.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are doing that in a way because times change. I mean, what we needed in 1977, we don't need in 2023. Things are just a little bit different. So I know you guys are working with the times. What are some of the needs that you're seeing for us? Let's say as far as internet is concerned. I know that.
Yeah, internet is a big thing, of course. Let me touch on these couple of things and then come back to the internet. But water, sewer, stormwater, road and bridge development, park design and development, long-range planning, all of those things are so very important. But broadband and broadband expansion is on the top of everyone's list today. We have to continue to move forward to ensure that all of our citizens, all 5 million of them in all 67 counties, have access to broadband so they can communicate with others, they can participate in telemedicine efforts, they can communicate in educational enhancements, whether it be at the K-12 level, whether it be post-secondary, or whether it be at higher ed. And in order to make sure that they are able to do that, everybody has to have equal access to broadband consideration in all 67 counties and all 464 municipalities.
Mm-hmm. And I know you're forward thinking, and I know you're probably thinking about what if we have another pandemic and people have to stay home again? What's some of the thought behind that possibility again?
Well, one of the things that we saw back during the pandemic is that many of our communities were underprepared to be served. And so in that instance, many of our communities were underserved. And that hurt a lot of our students that were in grades K through 12, as well as our students that were in kindergarten through the 6th grade, as they were trying to receive instruction from the central office or from their local school, whether it be a primary, elementary, middle, or high school setting. And we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to help our local municipalities, local school systems grow and develop and do all they can possibly do to afford each and every student throughout the state the option to receive the greatest education possible.
Absolutely. And when the pandemic hit, had been renting space from a radio station. And because I have asthma, the owner of the station said, you could do this from your home. She said, your husband can have you a studio built and you can do it there. And I said, there is no way I'd never get anything done. She said, you've got to. She said, you have asthma. I don't want you to get COVID. So I did. I wound up, I love doing this. I can be out on the farm. I can do whatever I need to do and host the show by using something like a Zoom format.
Right.
Had never heard of Zoom. So we're smaller, but we're bigger at the same time. So we've all had to learn and reach out and go outside the box, to do things different. I'm loving it now.
Well, that's the thing, Donna. It's all part of being introduced to new technology, understanding how that technology can benefit us, can benefit our clients, can benefit our citizens that we interact with, and that can benefit our communities. And that's the overall goal, is to make sure that we're providing the kind of quality service that all of our people expect and they should demand.
Mm-hmm. I know you're working, and we appreciate you working with our small towns. We do. I know you've got a heart for us. But how is, when you prepare for things such as like a pandemic, how would that be different in a bigger city, say like Birmingham and then Geraldine, Alabama?
Well, most larger cities are more connected through the internet and have broadband
That's the
capability at
help.
a high level, whereas many of our rural areas do not have that, whether it's Geraldine, whether it's Sardis, whether it's Sylvania, whether it's Rainsville, Mentone, Fife, Valley Head, wherever you might happen to be if you're in DeKalb County. But I also think it's important to remember that we have the same kind of obstacles in other counties around the state. Only 52 of our 67 counties are recognized as rural counties, but that is a majority of our people that live in those areas when you're talking about the people that are negatively impacted by not having broadband capability. Our population hubs, Madison, coming down Decatur, Coleman, Birmingham, Shelby County, Montgomery County, then down to Mobile, are well suited and well prepared. But even in each one of those counties, there are parts of them that are not fully invested the way they should be with broadband capability.
Mhm. Let's talk about new businesses possibly moving into Alabama. I mean, we got it all. You've talked about this a lot. We've got the mountains, we have the water, we got it all right here in the state of Alabama, and we have hard workers. So, what are some things businesses look for who are thinking about relocating either a business or maybe even a headquarters into Alabama? What do they look for?
Well, they look for a quality workforce, of course, but they also want to make sure that they are able to provide the kind of education that their employees want for their children, the kind of quality of life experiences that their families would like to enjoy, and that they are able to get to work. So the infrastructure is very important, whether it's roads and bridges, water and sewer, for their particular company to be able to grow and develop the way that they want it to.
Mhm. I would also think a clean town. The Mayor Abels and I have talked about this kind of laughingly. And some of the other towns I think are a little jealous of us because we have such a clean town. That's what other towns tell us. They say, what do you do? How do you keep your town so clean?
Well, that's all part of community pride, and demonstrating that from the top down is so important. And of course, Chuck does a great job in leading that community, but also making sure that each person sees it as their responsibility to ensure that that is preserved the way that it should be.
Mhm. Absolutely. John, can you believe half the show is already over? We're going to have to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. You guys hang in there, okay? At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I have with me very special friend John Merrill. And John was our former Alabama Secretary of State, and we miss you, John, but you're doing a great job where you're at.
Thank you for that. And I'm excited to have the privilege to serve where I'm at. And these people have been very good to me. And we've been able to work well all across the state with projects that extend from Madison County down to Mobile County. And we want to continue to do that all across the 67 counties in our state.
Absolutely. Now, we know big companies like to come into town, relocate, start maybe possibly a headquarters or something like that. We have, and this is, Alabama's a great state for that. Tax breaks, that kind of thing. But let's talk about some of the small towns. We love mom and pop businesses too. What does a mom and pop business need to do to get ready to start maybe an expansion of their business?
Look, Donna, the success for small businesses in our small rural communities around the state is determined by the way that particular business sees their role in that community. One of the things that I've observed and has been my personal experience over the years is that people will pay a little bit more and they will actually invest more in the local community store if they know that they're getting treated well and they know that those people are supporting the community overall. Because it's not very often that our friends from Walmart are buying signs at the ballpark. It's not very often that our friends at Amazon are buying program ads in the yearbook or in the football program. And whenever you go to one of those community stores, whether it be a restaurant or whether it be five and dime type store, whether it be a gas station, those people will typically respond positively to supporting the local school and the local community groups because they believe in the community, and that's why they're there. So that's why it's so important for us to continue to support them in what they're trying to do to provide for their family as well.
Absolutely. John, next time you come to Geraldine, I would like to take you by the bank. Liberty Bank, located right here in Geraldine, Alabama. Mr. Bailey is the branch manager, is an awesome guy. And the lady who answers the phone and directs you and tells you where to go and is such help, her name is Nancy. Nancy was the homecoming queen. We graduated from high school the same year. I was the geeky nerd, but she was the beauty queen. But I tell you what, it's really fun. As I've dealt with big banks before when we lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they were okay. But if I have an issue with a bank, I can call Nancy. And we will talk about how our kids, grandkids, and all this kind of stuff. And then she'll put that other hat on. And then she goes, now, how can I help you?
And then that's the key, Donna. And that's the reason it's so important, because we have Nancy's not exactly like Nancy, because she's unique and very special, especially for Geraldine and for the community. But I think it's important to remember that we have folks like Nancy all across the state of Alabama. And that's what makes Alabama so special. People that try to help you find a way to solve your problems and address your issues, especially in the financial realm. Whenever you've got an issue with a bank, you want to make sure that they are actually giving you the attention that you deserve, because that's your money that you've worked hard for to put in their institution, and they want to make sure that that money is protected and that it's actually working for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And she does. Let's talk a little bit about education. You touched on that just a few minutes ago. So businesses who are thinking about locating here to Alabama, we have some great ones here. We have Northeast Alabama Community College in Snead State, who has brought in the work ethic. They're teaching work ethics, how to work together as a team. It's not just about the skilled working.
That is correct. And also, I think it's important to remember that in the 144 school systems that we have, and of course, there are 67 county systems, and then there's 77 city systems in the state, that we have to continue to fund those systems, and we have to continue to remember that those systems are the ones that are offering the educational access for most all the people in the state of Alabama. 95% of the people that attend school in the state of Alabama attend public school. And so we want to make sure that they have the resources that they need to provide the kind of quality education in all the school systems throughout Alabama.
I'll tell you something that's really neat about this area too. You got Northeast, and you have Snead State, just right up the road from each other. And what's really cool is our employers actually go to them to find employees.
Sure they do. And another thing that they will do at the community college level is that they will work with employers to ensure that the skills that are necessary for those employers to have for the workers that come in and are a part of their team, that they make sure that they're properly trained. So they will work with Alabama Industrial Development Training Program, AIDT, to ensure that any skills that are necessary for them to be able to perform at a high level are actually offered and are received and are delivered.
Mm-hmm. And I think all that's is so very important. And so for your career, I mean, to know that you can start out as a plumber. Did you know that plumbers are actually the fastest growing millionaires in the U.S.?
I don't doubt that. And I'll tell you another thing too. It's interesting when people talk about hierarchy of jobs and how one is more prestigious or one's more important than the other. You don't think that a mechanic is important. you wait till you break down on the side of the road, and then you wish you were a mechanic or you had access to their skills and their ability. Same thing with the garbage people that come around. And those individuals, people might make fun of them, but you let your garbage go 2 or 3 days and not be picked up, you think about how that interrupts your quality of life in the area where you live. And it's the same thing with all the jobs that we can think of. That's why we all have to work together in our community to make our community be as good as it can possibly be. And that's why I think it's so important to make sure that we teach our children how important each and every job is. It's not just about being the president and the CEO of the company. It's also about being that line worker. It's about being that assistant in the office. It's about being the person that cleans up around the office and in the factory, and making sure that they understand why their job is as important as all the other people that work there that are in the more high profile positions.
Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you one reason I promote skill jobs is you go through these different levels in your life where you do things like you could be a welder and travel and work the ocean, make 6 figures. Okay, this is when you're single, okay? You got a wife at home with kids, you may decide you want to work closer at home. And you could work for a company. You could wind up owning that company someday. In Oxford, Alabama, I know a lady, her name is Sherry Cable. And she's a welder, and she owns a welding company. You've got to stop by and see Sherry sometime. So the dad actually owned the company, had 2 sons, but Sherry's the only one who was interested in running the company. And he said she's better than the sons would have ever been. It's flourishing. I mean, it's a success like you wouldn't believe it. She loves what she does.
And those are the kinds of stories we need to tell more often all across the state.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I know someone who was a massage therapist, and she would travel with one of the country singers. I don't remember which one it was. But anyway, she traveled with him all over the world, gets married, starts her own brick and mortar massage therapy place.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can evolve. Then I know a guy who was a welder, worked for a company, owned his own business. He sold the business. And now when they decide they want to go to Hawaii or whatever, he'll just walk into a company and say, let me train some of your employees. And they pay him. And that's how he goes to Hawaii. So you can evolve around and be anything you would like to be.
That's exactly right. And we need to remember that.
Mm-hmm. John, 2 minutes left in this segment. What would you like to tell the folks before you go? Time flies.
Well, you know, I think the most important thing that I can tell today is that we all have a contribution that we can make to improving our communities and the quality of life that's afforded in each and every one of our communities. We all need to be open to those opportunities. For some people, it means that they need to run for public office. For some people, it means they need to work in a governmental controlled environment. For some people, it means they need to work for a well-established business. For others, it means they need to start their own business. For some, it means that they need to be educators and preparing our young people to enter the workforce. And some, it means that they need to be more involved in civic groups and organizations so they can support all the things that are going on in the community. But each and every one of us has a role that only we can play at the level that's necessary for us to be able to positively contribute to our community. And we all need to be searching, find out what that is, and make sure we're taking full advantage of the opportunities that the Lord has given us so we will be able to make our community all it can possibly be.
That's what we're on earth for anyways, to help each other out.
That's right.
Thank you for all the help you've done, John. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I'm your host. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. The podcast is coming out there pretty soon. You can find us. We get social, too. We're on all the social media platforms as well. Thank you so much for watching. And again, John, thank you so much. Tell Cindy I said hello.
I will. Great to see you.
Bye.